All right, Thembi, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. I'd like to dive right into it, and because you went through a LinkedIn revolution a couple of months ago, I think it was in March when I launched it in March, and I just wanted to dive into it. Like, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced before you joined LinkedIn revolution?
I think, okay, so I don't think. I hated LinkedIn. Maybe that's a strong word, but I didn't actually understand LinkedIn. So
Hmm.
when you don't understand something, you kind of like don't engage with it. And it was for me really intimidating because I basically built my business on YouTube. So with LinkedIn, it was boring, and I was like, oh no, absolutely not for me.
Okay.
And then I joined your program, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So it felt intimidating. The platform itself, like, was there something else that like was challenging about, like, specifically certain things that were challenging about it, or challenging about the way you perceived it, or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I think it was also maybe a self-esteem thing. Um, I always I've built my business by attracting people. I mean, probably that's not the right word, but really putting out good content out there on YouTube and online, and people would find my website, and then they would contact me, and they would do the work with me. So they were already trained in the way I teach and in the way I work. So when I first started LinkedIn, I was like, oh my God, what do I do here? So I mean, I
Mm.
created my first LinkedIn account like 2007. And I was like, maybe I lied, 2009. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, I didn't understand direct response marketing because I was always used to inbound
Hmm.
marketing. So that was the challenging part. And there was no articles. And I was like, oh my goodness, what do you do with this thing? You just
Mm.
collect people for what? So I didn't understand the concept of LinkedIn, and I was intimidated by reaching out to people. Yeah, that's the self-esteem thing.
Mm.
I was intimidated by reaching out to people.
Get it. Okay. So what made you decide to join LinkedIn revolution and go through the program?
It was time. It was time to do it, right? So I was transitioning my business and going into a new field. Well, I was actually not transitioning. I was just expanding my business. And I knew that all of the people, the decision makers that I wanted to speak to were on LinkedIn. They don't come, like when you're doing B2B or even if you're doing B2C, people who want to work with you at a very high level are not going to be Googling on YouTube trying to find you. So there is that element when you are moving up in your or expanding your business where you have to do outreach. And that is the one reason why I decided to join Link
Mm.
Revolution.
Can you quickly expand on that? Maybe just a minute or so. Like, what did you expand from and into?
Yeah. So my original business was teaching people how to successfully invest in the US stock market. And though I love that business and I will always be a trader, I wanted to expand my business beyond investing because I'm in love with finance. So I wanted to go into corporate wellness and teach financial wellness and bring financial wellness into corporations. So, I mean, I could have written tons of articles and put them up on my website,
Mm.
but it takes so much time to build with SEO. And the SEO game is very difficult. It takes so much time to build with YouTube. And what I found, here's what I love about your course that has helped me build my self-esteem with LinkedIn is that now if I want to talk to a benefits compensation and benefits person, I know exactly how to find them, right?
Hmm.
I'm not waiting for them to sort of like discover me. Like I'm not that those, in America, it's like those Los Angeles models. I'm a model, I'm an actress, I'm a more. Why? And I'm waitressing while I'm waiting for my big break. You can actually go in there and find the people that you need to find and communicate with I mean, you have a beautiful messaging campaign that we can use. And I mean, yeah, it's really built that self-confidence.
I love that. Okay, cool. So I get, okay, then now the context is clear. Okay, so what are some of the things that happened after you joined Linked Revolution? 1 month into it, 3 months into it, now like a little bit more, like almost, no, we're actually at the
Yeah,
3 months, yeah.
so I the first month went through Linked Revolution, and I think I wrote one article, and my article did. I think I got like 100 views on the article, and then I spoke to you, and I was like, "Oh, but my article didn't do so good," and you're like, "But it doesn't matter." I was like, because of YouTube and been on YouTube for a while, I was like, no, it should have like 10,000 views. You're like, no, sweetheart, it doesn't work that way. Then I wrote my second article, and I got in contact with a woman who actually read my article and then connected with me. And then we started having conversation, and she works for Caesars Casino here in Las Vegas. And so that was a relationship that developed because of an article that I wrote. I should probably write more articles, but yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, it's been an unfoldment of connecting with people authentically. So the attraction is still there, but there is also this element of me taking the bull by the horns and being able to direct my destiny in business and not just waiting for something to happen.
I love that. Okay. So why do you believe that connection happened? I mean, do you think that it was because of something specific you wrote in the article? You think it was because of something specific, like where you posted it, or something, a certain way that you communicated, or what do you think? Why do you think that connection happened?
I think it was the article was so here's one thing that I learned from Link Revolution was writing an article and then distributing it to groups. I was like, genius. Why didn't I think of that? So I posted the article in one of the groups that I'm in, and that article resonated specifically for the wellness people and the benefits people. So that was one distinction. I mean, there's lots of strategy. Let me say, there's lots of techniques to build a business, but I think Link Revolution gives you a more holistic strategy. So strategy and then techniques, right? My strategy and my overall vision, which I learned from you and Simon Sinek, was really changing the way of thinking about your business and who you want to play with in your business. So every time I talk to you, you're like, who do you want to play with? Because not everyone is your customer. And that is such a great distinction between your program and all the other programs. Because I bought other programs on LinkedIn, but yours was the only one that I said, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do this. And oh my God, I did it and it's freaking working. So thank you.
Yeah, tell me a bit more. Like, I mean, there's lots and lots of things that are currently happening as well with the new direction that you're taking with the expansion into corporate. I mean, you mentioned the speaking gigs and lots of new, really, really interesting things with the interview series that you're planning. So what are some of the other things that are currently happening for you?
Yeah, so I was able to connect with the woman from Caesars. I can't really talk a lot about the contract and that stuff because it's like under contract. But that was a good connection, and that has led to something beautiful. Okay, so that gave me the confidence to go, I can do this. I can totally do this. So after that, I started sending out more specific connection requests to specific people that I really wanted to talk to. So as a result of that, I'm like, my calendar is booked till 2018 with speaking engagements. I mean, like, I literally yesterday got a speaking engagement for 2018 because some of these associations, I work with HR and benefits and learning and development. Some of them are booked out till 2018. And I'm like, I'll take that speaking engagement. I'll put it on my calendar. But I was in a mastermind and I was like, I really need to figure this thing out, like getting into corporations. And that missing piece for me was really understanding LinkedIn and being able to use it confidently. Now I can send out an email, I can send out a LinkedIn connection, I can send out a LinkedIn message, and I get response. It's not just like send something out into the ether and no one responds, right? So it's very empowering. It's very empowering to be able to connect with someone and ask for business or ask for a coffee or a meeting, and they take that coffee or meeting with you, and then you get to share and co-create with them. It's like, what? It's so easy. It's not that difficult. So yeah, I'm a little over exaggeration, but
No, it's totally great.
I'm totally so grateful because I don't know if I would have the traction that I have. I'm able to just connect with people and say, hey, I'm doing an executive roundtable. Hey, I'm doing this workshop. Would you like to come? And I'm connecting with directors and VPs. And I think also when someone reads my profile, I had a woman that read my profile and said, who are you? Like, who even writes stuff like this? I gotta know you. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Let's get to know each other. And then we had a call, and it's leading to a webinar for her HR group. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh
So
my God.
let's talk about this. I want to talk about this because the LinkedIn profile is something that a lot of people struggle with. Like, what should I write? Because most people LinkedIn profiles are horribly boring. Like maybe 99%. So what makes somebody reach out and say, oh my God, I gotta talk to you? What is that? What did you change? What did you do?
Yeah, I changed my LinkedIn profile from this boring, I help businesses do, I mean, like everybody helps businesses do something. Like, come on, get a break. Like, snooze fest, right? Because you're just like everyone else. The reason I loved working on or marketing on YouTube was I could show my personality. I'm totally animated, and I'm always excited. This is who I am all the time. Well, yeah, after green juice. But when I went into LinkedIn, I saw these profiles and they looked spammy and they looked so boring. I used to ask myself, what do these people do? I don't get what they do. They have these fancy words, and I'm like, I'm not an idiot, but like I don't know what these people do. And after going through, I think it was the first lesson in Link Revolution. I realized that you can differentiate yourself by using fancy words, right? Like in your title, and put keywords and just stuff your keywords in your title. But that doesn't really do anything. I'm not looking for the masses because my products, firstly, are expensive. Secondly, they're not for everyone. There are companies that are not progressive and that are not looking for people like me. And that's fine. But if I write my profile from a place of truth, my truth, and the vision that I want to co-create with others and play with them through that vision, then I get those people who write to me and go, who are you? Like, who writes a profile like this, right? It creates that intrigue. And that's what we really need more of in business, not the same old boring shit anymore. So sorry for cussing, but I just needed to make sure that that concept was like, yeah.
It's perfect. So, okay, so basically what you changed is you're starting your, just like, I borrowed that from Simon Sinek. You're basically starting your profile with why now. When you talk about the vision, you talk about what you can co-create. It's all about the why, really. And then it's about raising curiosity in people and not basically saying, here's exactly what I do, but basically saying, here's, first of all, making people really curious. Yeah. And then leading people to connect with you and reach out to you.
Yeah. Excellent. And it really, so if you think about it, it's such a genius strategy. Your first lesson in Link Revolution, it's really genius. Because if you look at what CEOs are looking for and you look at what top decision makers are looking for, so like middle management is just in the grunt work, right? They're just trying to implement the strategies from above, right? But when you start with why, you are able, like I have like heads of HR for Africa, like the whole of Africa connecting with me. Before, I couldn't even get those people to like even look at my profile. Why? Because I just looked like every other consultant, every other salesperson is like, oh my God, snooze fest. But now, because I start from a vision, which is what top decision makers are really focused on. That is the core of business, right? Vision. How are we taking our company forward? So you're connecting with that mindset and that level of strategy. You're speaking the same language. So when I reach out to people at a really high level, they look at my profile and they're like, oh yeah, she kind of speaks my language. She's not just going to give me a tactic. She's going to help me better implement my strategy in my company by co-creating with me, right? So it's so different. It's this subtle nuance or the subtle difference from just I help business. Oh my God, sneeze fest. Bye, boo. Bye, Felicia.
Love it. Love it. So what specifically, you talked about publishing articles. Was there something else specifically that you did in order to attract more people to your profile and get people to connect with you and initiate those conversations?
So I published the articles and I got some traction. I haven't counted how many people I've gotten from my articles, but I'm not sitting around waiting, right? I actually do direct marketing. I've been in marketing for so long. So I know that if you want to get traction, you literally have to. I mean, one of your secret sources, there was a secret source, right? That secret software that you used, that really opened up a lot of opportunity. And then I realized I literally have to reach out to people. Now reaching out to people for me is not a matter of, oh, I'm just bothering this person. I'm like, I want to play with you. Let's play. Let's see if we can like each other and play. And before I wasn't reaching out. I think I was just nervous, or I think I probably sounded the same. I help businesses. It's like, oh God.
So I'm curious there. I want to dig a bit deeper there, because that's a major change. Because
definitely.
When you can go from I'm intimidated and I don't feel confident reaching out to somebody to going to that level of confidence that you have to reaching out to people, I mean, everything changes. Not just on LinkedIn, but on a global level. In your business, everything changes. So tell me a bit more, like what do you feel? What do you feel changed that for you? What made it for you change from I feel that, intimidated and not confident of reaching out to them in terms of the way that I've been taught, that, people taught me, to that new way of doing that outreach that you're doing it now?
It was the first module. It truly was the first module, because I know now why I do what I do. And I am not afraid to share on my LinkedIn who I am, what I have to offer, and what vision and what change. I want to be a beneficial presence on this planet. I want to leave a dent in this universe. And if the first module was imperative for me to get clear on that and go, this is what I stand for. And if you don't want to play with me, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I need to birth this, right? It needs to come through and as me. So I am going to stand boldly in my vision. And in that, I am going to reach out. I mean, every week I probably reach out to 500 people, maybe 700. I get my assistant to do it. Sometimes I do it, but I reach out and I get about 60, maybe sometimes 70% response. And sometimes it takes 2-3 weeks to get that response. But it's still the commitment to my vision. Because if I leave this earth and I have not connected and co-created with other beings, what have I been here doing? Right? So that is the subtle difference in your program. And I mean, all programs are good. They're inherently good. But the energy and the vibration that you bring to your coaching, that you bring to the creation of Linked Revolution and the community that is in Linked Revolution, I think that's the underlying difference that gave me the the kick in the butt and the confidence to go, okay, I can do this. I don't have, oh my God, yeah, before I took Linked Revolution, I was cold calling. Literally, oh my God. I'm good at it.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that conversation.
I was literally in tears at times. I was like, what am I doing? I built a successful business without talking to anybody. Why am I cold calling people? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Linked Revolution was a lifesaver for me. It came at the perfect time. I cannot be more grateful. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot be more grateful.
You know, talking about massive action leading to massive results, you know, I mean, that's huge. You know, sometimes the only thing that's required is that little small one trigger that goes from, you know, I feel intimidated reaching out to people to, I mean, doing what you're doing now and creating these incredible results. So that's incredibly powerful. So, bit more curious about the part of the connection process. So when somebody reaches out to you, like the lady that you mentioned before, or some of the other people, or when you reach out to them, so that is the first step, right? What is the next step? Like what is your process? I guess that's my question. What is your process?
So my process has changed a little bit. So I will usually send a personalized connection request. I don't just send like a blank one. You know, some people just like connect, and it's like LinkedIn connect. It's like, come on, seriously, do something better. So I usually will personalize the LinkedIn request, either, you know, by some commonality. It's usually by some commonality, group or whatever the case be. And then once they connect, I will literally thank someone for connecting with me, because someone took the time to go and look at my profile and say, yes. I mean, I think the best line that you gave in Linked Revolution was bringing humanity back to business. I always think of that, right? I think to myself, would I want somebody to just not care if they were playing with me, or would I really want someone to care? So that's why I care. I bring that energy of caring. And even when I, instruct or ask my assistant to do it, I'm like, this is a human being. Yes, it's social media, but it's a opportunity to connect with someone, another human being. So we treat it very sacredly. So I will send a thank you for connecting. And then what I've started doing actually is asking questions. What I found, and I'm actually doing that now. I'm interviewing HR people and benefits people. What I'm doing is asking specific questions about what really bothers them, or what their challenges are, or their pain points, and what their vision is. Because if you really look at, when you're selling to B2C, it's like, okay, I can talk to you right now. What's your vision? How much money you want to make? What do you want to do? Blah, 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 right? But when you are selling into corporations, there's a difference. You have to realize that you're selling to that individual. They have their own dreams to move up the corporate ladder. They have the strategy coming from above that they have to implement along with their personal career growth. And they're also afraid of losing their job, right? Because now they have to support their family and all of this other stuff. So it's important for me when I connect to really ask them, what is it that you are doing in this job? What are your challenges? How can I be of service? You need to go first, right? For me, I know that I need to give first before I can ever require anyone to give me anything. My favorite line, is actually my mantra now, is I'm seeking to understand first before being understood. And that is opening so many doors, because I go in with an open heart, not needing anything from you, because I feel like it's like the analogy when you go shopping, especially for women shopping for shoes, and when you have this salesperson that comes to you, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? You're like, get away from me eventually, you know, because it's this grasping energy. It's like, I need.
Yes. Wow.
So
that was full of golden nuggets. So basically what I heard is like the key to connection is caring. And what you really put in there is what most people miss, which is the personal caring. It's not about, I'm caring about the organization that you work for or the organization that you lead, but I'm caring about you as well, and maybe even you first. And now that's a whole different game, because first of all, nobody else does that. And everybody wants to be understood, and everybody wants to be cared for. So that is really powerful. That is really powerful.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't say I'm a master at it, right? I'm definitely not a master at it. I'm every day growing in confidence, and I come to every LinkedIn session, which sometimes I spend 2 hours a day, depending on what my initiative is for the month, with the understanding that I have it all within me. There's nothing missing or lacking. So I just want to share. And I mean, it's common sense, but common sense is not always common. We are human beings first before we are even like business people. Like business is another part of our dimension, but the core of who we are is human beings. And human beings, I think in the ideal world, just want to play with each other. We just want to be friends and be kind and be loving and play with each other. So if you start from that energy, and which is what your course has, it's easier to do business. It's like you make friends and then you do business.
That is beautiful, and it's just so true, and it's so powerful, especially once you embrace that mindset, because that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
Once you embrace that mindset, then everything changes, because then suddenly you no longer attract the people who have shallow conversations with you, but you attract people who have conversations like you and me. You know what I mean? This is beautiful. So okay, so what do you do to go from this initial conversation, the connection, the conversation, the back and forth, the in-mail, the email? How do you go from there to actually drinking coffee with somebody, having lunch with somebody?
Yeah.
Having a call with somebody.
Yeah. Okay. So I will, it's the initial connection, the thank you for connecting, the what's your challenge? What are you working with as millennials? So what I will usually ask questions surrounding millennials, or if I'm talking to benefits people, I'll ask questions surrounding participation in benefits. Okay. And then after, if somebody responds, takes the time to actually respond, then I know, okay, they're open to playing with me. And then I will usually send a request to have a call. Mm-hmm. If they're in Vegas, I will usually just say, hey, can I stop by and have lunch with you? Or can we go to happy hour? Because I don't want it to be sort of an intimate, like, I spoke to one woman in Washington, D.C. She's like, you're the first person who's actually asked me about myself, instead of, hey, you work for this company,
Wow.
What can you do for me? And I was like, but you're a human being. So like, yeah, who are you? What are you doing? What do you love to do? Right. So if it's in Vegas, I will usually ask for happy hour or lunch. And it's lunch away from the office, so that it's not, so the person just feels at ease. Mm-hmm. Because when somebody tries to sell me, I just usually just shut them out. And even if they're a lovely person, if they're not really willing to understand, or let's have a chat outside of work, mm-hmm. Then I just shut down. Mm-hmm. So I know myself, and I don't want to make someone else feel that way either. So that's my. And if sometimes you can't. So here's another thing. You have to understand with LinkedIn. Some people will not respond to you for 3 weeks. It's not that they're ignoring your LinkedIn messages. People don't go on LinkedIn that much, and especially as you climb up the ladder of decision makers, some of them don't go on LinkedIn 2 weeks, and you can't take it personally. But you have to also use your own intelligence and go find the email and send them an email, So if I can't connect with someone on LinkedIn, I will email them and say, hey, I sent you a LinkedIn message. Did you see it? That usually gets a response, because I spoke to a decision maker who's top CEO here in Vegas, or one of the casinos. And he says, unless you are willing to send me 7 messages, I'm not going to communicate with you. He says, I have so many people that bombard me with messages after messages, but they give up after the 3rd message. And I know that if they're not willing to win my friendship and my business, once I give them my business, they're going to go missing in action.
Ooh.
So for him, it's 7 times. You literally have to send him, call him, link him 7 times before he'll even consider having a meeting with you or even getting on the phone with you.
That is so powerful, because most people are either totally obnoxious when it comes to follow-up, right? Or a much, much bigger percent of the people that I work with, they're like, but I sent them already 1 email. Like, I don't want to annoy that person. And the thing is, when we think that I don't want to annoy that person, that's our perception, right? It's always our perception. It has nothing to do with the other person, because that person that you just mentioned, that's a beautiful example. Their perception of somebody who is selling them something or who collaborates with them is, if they're not willing to reach out to me 7 times to get a hold of me, that means to me they're not going to be fully committed in our work relationship. Wow. I mean, that is really interesting, and I very much believe, and that's what I've experienced as well, the higher up you go in that ladder of decision makers and CEOs and successful entrepreneurs and anything, the more that is the case.
Yeah, totally the case. I think, I don't even connect with anyone below director level. I probably should. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I specifically wanted to connect with director levels and above, because they will implement strategies and, strategies from the top, and they have like buying decision making capabilities. But you have to so with my speaking engagements, I probably sent out 300 speaking email requests, right, for speaking, and probably 2 people booked me to speak out of those 300 on the first email. It took me 2nd email, and then I got a whole 10 other speaking engagements. 3rd email, more speaking engagements. So you have to get out of this mindset of, it's about me. It's not about you, boo. Sit down. It's not about you. It's not about you. If you are trying to get a decision maker at the top, you are the last person on their list. When they open the email and they go, oh God, it's another salesperson, they just delete that email, or they go, oh, I'll read it later. And if you're not willing to keep putting yourself out there, but it also starts with the vision. If there is no strong vision, there's no need. You will curl up and not want to send emails out to people. But if your vision is really strong, you're like, I want to play with you. Let's play. And you keep at it. So
absolutely, I love that. So one of the last questions that I have is, when you have these meetings with people, is there like a process that you follow in terms of going from a meeting to eventually a collaboration to a deal? Is there some sort of what's your framework? What's your process that you usually use?
I use it's called consultative selling. So I'm a very curious person. I've always been a curious person. I like to know how things work. I think that's why I became a trader and studied the markets for so long. But I really want to know behind, how do you think? And how does it work? So whenever I go into I call it sales meeting, but it's not really sales meetings. Like, let's play together. Let's see if we like each other and we can play. I go into those meetings. I'm always listening for underlying objections, underlying pains. So I think when I first started, so before I took Link Revolution, I had 3 sales meetings from cold calling. And I had this grand idea that I know it all. I am licensed as a certified financial literacy consultant. I know how to help you. Oh my God, didn't work very well. It's totally obnoxious, right? Like, I come into your company, I'm like, I know it all. Let's do this. It's my way. No, it doesn't work that way. I learned a nice little lesson about that. So now when I go in, more interviewing people. So this is, I mean, some of my good connections, like I have a connection with someone in South Africa who's like head of HR for Africa. The connection started with, hey, can I interview you? And what happens when you interview someone is that you give them a place to shine. You give them a place to, because if you think about it, people in corporations don't have that much opportunity to shine. They don't have podcasts, they don't have YouTube channels, they don't have their own website, right? They're just these people in cubicles. But if I say, come to you and I say, oh my goodness, I love what you do. I don't know a lot about what you do, but can you just share with me? People are always willing to share with you. They're always willing to tell you what's good about them, and then they'll tell you their problems, especially America. And you just go, oh, interesting. Oh. And then you can bring up those issues. So you ask them, what is good? What's happening that's good? What are you proud of? Then they'll tell you. And then you're like, okay, so what's your vision? Then they'll tell you, and they're so excited. And then you don't even need to ask them. They will tell you their problems. But you have to be willing to be quiet, which is difficult for me at times when I'm with people. I'm just like, oh my God, let's play. But sometimes I just have to be quiet and just listen to. I listen with the ear behind the ear. Sometimes, I listen because I want to talk and I just want to, oh yeah. But sometimes I have to just sit back and go, what is the real problem? So yeah, the problem might be, in benefits, our employees are not utilizing the benefits that we bought from you or the benefits that we bought from someone else. But really, no, that's sort of like top of mind problem. There's something else behind that symptom, right? There's a serious problem behind the symptom that's showing up. So being able to listen from that perspective and then being able to say, hey, how about this? Because then I don't come off as, I'm trying to sell you this. I come off as a trusted advisor. I come off as a friend just offering my geniusness,
I love it.
So that's, and then I never write proposals or contracts, but I never write proposals, those long proposals. They're a waste of my time. I usually would just interview and then come up with a solution in the meeting and then send the final contract or a proposal that can be revised. But it's based on what you've told me your problems are, not what I think I can help you with.
I love that. And you also brought up a really powerful concept, curiosity, because sometimes we make it so complicated with all these tactics and methods out there for sales conversations and all that crap. Because at the end of the day, all it is walking into a meeting and caring and being curious. Because if that happens, then everything else is solved by itself. Because if you're curious, you're going to find out everything you need to know. And if you care and if you know that you're good, you know that at the end of the meeting, if the most impactful thing for them to do, if you know that you're the right person to work with them and they're a good fit, is to work with you, right? So that's powerful. So is there anything else, like any last golden nuggets that you want to share in terms of LinkedIn and using it for your business?
I think that's the golden nugget. Use it, right? I think I've been guilty of this, of buying so many courses. I love to learn. I'm a hermit, so I stay home and I learn and I implement. I usually just want to implement to get my money back. And if it's good and I'm like, I see results, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll focus on this. But I think what I've learned this year is I've bought less courses. After Linked Revolution, I have bought less courses. No, I probably bought one course and it was, I can't even remember what it was about. Look at that. Probably email marketing. But use what you buy. If you are going to invest your money and use it, because what is the point, right? You get yourself into debt. You buy all of the stuff because you think you need it, but you don't actually use it. At least just use it to get your money's worth. And I think with Linked Revolution, you're not only going to get your money's worth, but you're going to make friends, which is kind of fun too, as the coaching calls are fun. But you're also going to collaborate with other people within the Linked Link Revolution family. I have connected with a guy who lived, I think he was in Switzerland, now lives somewhere in Europe, and we were going to meet in London. That connection would have not happened if it wasn't for Link Revolution. And he does neuroscience, and I'm very fascinated by neuroselling and neuroscience. And we had a lovely conversation, but it's because I put the nonsense aside that, oh, who am I? You know, I've only built my business by attracting people and not really going out. I mean, the system is easy to use. The techniques are very simple. And I think it's just getting out of our own way. What does that mean? Just sitting down at your computer and doing the work. It's just that simple. You know, it's, not easy to implement, but it's truly simple.
Yeah, powerful. Thanks for sharing that, Thembi. Thanks for sharing the story.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thembi. Bye-bye.
Bye.